The door! No! Come on!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to my review for the 2021 Halloween sequel, Halloween Kills. A film that is once again directed by David Gordon Green, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, Andy Machichak, Nick Castle, Will Patton, Thomas Mann, and Jim Cummings. Right. Where do I start with Halloween Kills? Well, obviously this is the second in a trilogy of films. I think we all know that now, that this is a trilogy of films. The first one came out in 2018, and it was, I think, personally, a brilliant rebooting of the franchise, forgetting all that had come before it, apart from the original 1978 Halloween film. Everything else was got rid of, retconned, if you like. And I just thought it was a brilliant way to reboot the franchise. This time round, this film continues immediately after the events of the first film. Michael Myers is left, as Laurie Strode thinks, to burn at the bottom of her house. As we all know now, we've seen the trailers and things, that doesn't happen. He escapes. Laurie Strode goes to the hospital, has surgery because she was very injured at the end of the first one. And then once the town find out, and in particularly Tommy, the boy from the first film, this time played by Anthony Michael Hall, he gets the locals build up into a frenzy, and they decide to go out and take action against Michael Myers. Right, what are my thoughts on Halloween Kills? Well, surprisingly, I have quite a lot to say on this film. Which seems odd, really, for a Halloween film. They're usually fairly disposable films, but I think David Gordon Green did such a good job with the first one. I think what he's done here is interesting, but flawed. I have to say that I do think it's flawed what he's done here in a lot of ways. Where do I start, really? I'll start with some of the issues I have with the film, I suppose. Now, the first film set up Michael Myers. It kind of stripped him down to nothing again. We saw him at the beginning of that film. He was just a bloke, and an elderly bloke at that. And then once he gets his mask back and he puts it back on, it's like almost like a, whoa, Michael Myers is back sort of thing. And then this time round, the film sets him up as this unstoppable being, which is more like the Michael Myers we've seen in some of the less thought of sequels, I suppose. This supernatural being that can't be stopped, almost Terminator-like. Now, it makes for good viewing, don't get me wrong. This film, I think, is highly entertaining and very, very watchable. It looks great, some great kills, some great shots, and it is overall quite an exciting film to watch. But I kind of felt it betrayed a little bit what was set up in the first film. And it lays a lot of foundations that we can only hope are going to be answered in the third film. Now, I only found out today, I was watching an interview with the director, David Gordon Green, and apparently the third one is going to be set 4 years after this film. It's going to be a 4-year time jump. So interesting, where are they going to go after this film? And obviously I'm not going to give away any spoilers here. But we learn a lot of this film, and I think what it does well is it raises a lot of social questions, which I thought was very good. It raises questions about mob mentality and how fear could turn people into monsters, and all that kind of stuff. And this film is all about rage and turmoil colliding, and great stuff. And all that stuff with the crowd getting riled up and going after Michael is how you would expect it to be, really, in regards to people kind of getting drawn into things and getting very angry about things, society these days. So all that kind of made sense. I didn't really have an issue with any of that side of it, really. I mean, fans of Laurie Strode, you probably know by now, but she's pretty much sidelined in this film. Understandably so. She was very injured, as I mentioned, in the first film. So she's like having surgery and recovering in the hospital for this one. So that's great. She's not running around with a shotgun and stuff. It's mainly her daughter and her granddaughter that are involved in the action this time round. But the body count here is so high. Which is, I suppose, is a good thing for a slasher film. I know, but it doesn't feel like it's related in some ways to the first film. We can only hope really that the third film will deliver and answer some of these questions, because again, in the interview that I saw with David Gordon Green, I mean, this film sets him up as this supernatural being, almost like from the Halloween the Halloween 5 and 6 films, when they talk about this cult of Thorn and things. My immediate thought watching this film, especially, you know, when he's going through people like the Terminator, is this the route they're going to go down again, this supernatural being? I don't think the fan base is going to like this. And no, apparently in this interview that I saw, David Gordon Green doesn't see him as a supernatural being, but as a person that could do incredible things. Okay, but this film really does set him up like that. So it's an odd one, this. It does feel a little bit unbalanced, but there's no getting around it. It's deeply entertaining, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Kill after kill after kill. Very, very good, and some good dramatic scenes as well. And I must admit, I was really entertained by watching it, and I'm really, really looking forward to the third entry now. I mean, Michael Myers has never been as brutal as he was in this film, so I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Like I say, I just don't think it was related well enough to the first one. They do kind of feel like separate films, but it is a very, very entertaining Halloween film, and it's probably, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, it's probably the best Halloween sequel that's ever been made. And when you analyse all the sequels, you know, you've got Halloween 2, which I know a lot of people do enjoy now. I know it's been retconned, but that was a decent sequel. Then you've got, you know, Halloween 4, then you've got 5 and 6. And then you've got Halloween H2O that was followed by Resurrection, which was a sequel to that. And then you've got the Rob Zombie ones. And, you know, when you consider the sequels to all these films, I think Halloween Kills is the best sequel in the franchise. But yeah, a really interesting film. Very, very interesting, but I did enjoy my time watching it. Highly entertaining stuff, guys, that I'm sure fans of the franchise will definitely get a kick out of. So definitely looking forward to the third one. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are when watching this one, and I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.